All right, folks, what an absolute blessing to come at you this Sunday, November 19th, 2023, the ISO Go Live date. We're going to run up a session. Let me share this one out real quick. While we get started, you can go to my website, zachrector.com, to get in touch with me, join our exclusive group, get your crypto exchanges, wallets, and connections for precious metals. We got it all for you. It's over at my website, zachrector.com. That's also the only place to get in touch with me right now, as I am not responding on any of these social media platforms. So I'm going to share out this live post, and we're going to run up a session here. It's all at my website, zachrector.com. Thank you for stopping by. Live now. Here we go. All right, let's rock and roll, folks. So my apologies for coming here so late. Midnight on the East Coast, and it's about 9 o'clock here on the West Coast of the good old USA. But today I was actually up in Canada with the family. And so my apologies for running late. But it is absolutely critical right now that we get in touch, that we make sure that we don't just hold on to XRP and wait to go to the moon. We actually want to have a relationship with our family. We want to have every aspect of this life that we're trying to create here, some sort of balance. I struggled to find work-life balance. I struggled to put it away, but today I did, and it was super nice. I pay for service so that I can still get service up in Canada, but today I put my phone away, I put Twitter away, and just enjoyed time with the family. And so that's why I'm coming back late tonight from Canada, and we're going to turn up this session here. I was getting super excited, though, up in Vancouver, getting excited for the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference. That's coming up in January. And I went this last year as one of the first conferences that I've really ever gone to. It was the first one that I've gone to since I started making content, too. And I got to meet Economic Ninja. I got to meet Robert Kiyosaki. I got to meet Andy Schekman. Although I'd already created a personal relationship with Andy, getting to meet with Andy, going out to lunch with him. We're getting waited on our table, and we're stopping to chat with Lynette Zhang. That's what happens at the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference, just a wealth of knowledge. So I'm not here to shill that. I'm just saying that there's some big hitters that come through there. It's a lot of fun. And I was up there in Vancouver today, and I was just getting excited for that. So, and the other reason why I'm getting excited for it is because we already have 3 Discord meetups scheduled for next year. And this is with our private community, and just being able to meet folks in person, shake hands, give hugs, and talk about what we're building outside of XRP, making a real world connection. That's what it's all about for me. And I was just so excited. I love going up there, up to Canada, Vancouver, BC. Talk about wealth. There's so much dang money up there. It's ridiculous. And so every time I go up there, I come back with a little bit more inspiration, another perspective on life, as I come from small town USA. So you go up there into the big old world. It's an interesting scene up there. But nonetheless, that is my excuse for showing up here late tonight. Without further ado, let me get right on into this update. I am sipping a little secret sauce as we settle in here, late night session on a Sunday. May God bless you all. Thank you for tuning in, and let's run up ourselves a session here as we cover current events, financial markets, and the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you. I know it's late. Let's run it up. Let's go. Bitcoin, let's take a look. Up to 37,500 is what we did today. A little Sunday pump. How about it? Back up to 37,500 for Bitcoin. Ethereum, same thing, back up to about 2017. So Ethereum still hanging in at 2,000 right now at the time of this recording. And XRP back up, but we're hanging out at 62 cents. Now, I'm going to be very honest. I'm not waiting around for XRP here. Our time to accumulate this asset under $1 is running slim, short, and our days are numbered. I think that we have less than a year that XRP trades under $1, and then it may never trade under $1 again. Just to be straight up with you guys, I don't want to, dance around the issue. I don't want to, I'm not here to give anybody financial advice, but I'm here to throw out a prediction, and that's my prediction. And I'll let you guys can figure out how I'm investing based off of that. My XRP bag is already relatively packed, and I got my XLM at number 2. I got my XDC and a few other cryptos, but really, for the most part, I've just been stacking as much XRP as possible, already taking profit on XLM, Algorand, and right now I got back into XLM, but like I said, my bag's very simple, and for me, XRP under $1 is a sale. Silver under $23, come on, under $30 is a sale to me. I'll take it under $30, include the premium. And by the way, our affiliates at my website have some of the best prices for you if you're looking to pick up my good friend Andy Sheckman that I was just talking about. He's got some of the best prices and the most transparent service if you're looking to get precious metals. We can get them shipped directly to you or roll over the 401k retirement account. But that being said, under $30, I'll swoop that silver. Under $1 XRP, please, thank you very much. When it comes to real estate, thank you very much, I'm good. I'm good. I got my cash on the sidelines, I'm ready to move. And other than that, right now, our strategies are very simple, right? Now, let's see this market, what it does this week. Right now, we've been calling out the bull trap rally. Bitcoin went all the way up to 38,000. It's cooled off since. Little Sunday pump, cool. Ethereum, same thing. Ethereum ETF filings. Now we have what, 6 or 7? That's great. Little pump, come back down, and we have a little Sunday excitement. That's great. What is today? It's ISO 222 go live. And what have we always said? Don't expect the moon date to come in advance based off of a rollover of a messaging standard that is real. And let's be very clear about the ISO go live, just because I know it's a hot topic today. It's very important. It's very critical. As I was talking about in XRP Vegas with Jay from Spend the Bits, my good friend Jay, we were talking about ISO 222 and how he's been helping some banks up there go live with it, roll over to it, implement it. And what this is data-rich payments. It's so critical in this new financial system. Data-rich payments. This is how you go to real-time gross settlement or 3 to 5 instant settlement with XRP. That's one option. Obviously, there's a few other blockchains out there that do something similar. But at the end of the day, the ISO 222 rollout, we've been talking about how Swift members had the option to go live with ISO 222 last year in August. So the option has been there. Now they're really pushing it. And by 2025, it's done. If you want to be included in the new financial system, you got to be on ISO 222 messaging standard. And that's all it is. And we've always said, don't worry about this being the moon date. This ain't the moon date. If you want to do a riddle, God bless you. That's fine. Do a riddle. Okay, but the ISO go live dates have never been a moon date. We've always been very clear about that. But we've always been very clear how important it is that the ISO 222 messaging upgrade just confirms that we're moving to a data-rich payment environment, a new financial system that, obviously blockchains like XRP in and of itself aren't ISO 222 compliant, just so everyone understands that. XRP is not ISO compliant. Ripple's on-demand liquidity, which uses XRP, is ISO 222 compliant. So Ripple made the XRP payments compliant with ISO 222 messaging with what they've added on top of the XRPL. You got to understand that. And very simply, there's a few other blockchains where there are companies, like Stellar, that has made sure that XLM payments can be ISO 222 messaging standard. That's critical. It is really important, but these have never been moon dates. So just so everyone is caught up to speed on why, crypto did pump a little bit, today, but we've been seeing a lot of Sunday pumps. This is something that we've been seeing over the past couple months. Now for XLM, which by the way, if you missed the XLM update that I just did, the video was titled XLM ETF Next ? Because I had to bring it up because we already have Grayscale with the the XLM Trust, and they're ready to convert this thing to an ETF at any point in time if the SEC wants to actually give us some approval here. But we see the XLM is back to 12 cents here today, back above 12 cents on the pump that crypto got today, cooling off at about 12 cents right now. Our DXY into the new week is already crashing. See, that's the beautiful thing here is we're already watching the markets have opened up in China, in Asia. They're already trading. DXY already down. Critical. Now, 2-year, we saw how this thing finished off, back up to finish off the week here and up this weekend. But we're going to be watching these treasuries here as I think that they're ready to actually move back up higher because nobody wants to do a deal with the United States government right now. I mean, there are some folks that think that a 4 and a 5% return on your 2 and your 10-year is a deal worth taking, and that's fine. You know, I hope it works out. But at the end of the day, when inflation, you have to look at your real rate of return. I had a conversation in our Discord community just yesterday, very important conversation about opportunity cost. Right. Sure. Are the S&P, is S&P pumping right now? Yes. Is Nvidia going to go set a new high? Maybe. Sure. Is the S&P going to go set a new high? Sure. What do you want? Another 7 to 10%? I'm not here for 10%. I don't know about you guys. I'm not here for 10%. I don't have millions in the bank. I don't have M's in the bank account like the kids say. I don't have that. So 10% is not going to work on my money. I'm looking for big moves. 100%, it kind of gets us excited, but we're looking for 10x and beyond. And, you know, even just doubling up, tripling up, that's what we're looking for, right? And that is out there. That is out there within your own business. And that is out there within real estate investment opportunities if you know what you're doing. And it is out there for private equity deals as well. We're looking at those as well. But we had this conversation in the Discord yesterday. Is it worth the upside potential of, okay, you want to invest in an S&P 500 stock? And the reason why this conversation got brought up is the frustration in the XRP community. I get it. But what's the alternative? And I asked this question to anybody that wants to sell their XRP for another investment opportunity. I'm not talking to the people that have to sell their XRP to go pay bills, to go pay off a credit card, a student loan debt that's now due. Right? You didn't have to pay your student loans. Now it's due. Foreclosure moratoriums finally coming to an end. You know, I'm not talking to the person that has to go pay their bills, but for the person who thinks that they have a better investment opportunity, what's the alternative? What's the move? What's the play? Drop that alpha in the comments down below. Let me know. I'm genuinely curious if anyone is selling their XRP right now because they have a better investment opportunity that is outside of your business and outside of a real estate deal. What is it? A stock? You want to go in Nvidia, Apple, S&P? What do you want? 7 to 10% upside when you expose yourself to 30 to 20 to 50% downside. Maybe I'm being dramatic on the S&P. 20% downside, we've already done it. And what's the downside on XRP? Sure, it's 20 to 50%. Sure. XRP could go down another 50%. No problem. I get that. But what's the upside potential? That's the difference. That's the opportunity cost. So if you have a better deal, then good, fantastic. But for me, I mean, I look across the board here. Where do you put your money when you can't get a solid return on treasuries? Because that 5% that you're making on treasuries, and I've had some conversations with some folks lately that think they are geniuses because they're guaranteed 5% from the government. The government will never default. It's always going to be just good old times in the USA. What do you think the real rate of inflation is? What is your real rate of return? Because when I go shopping up in Vancouver, BC today, there was some good deals. There's a Black Friday sales and we got a good exchange rate right now up in Canada. So that's, that aside, the inflation's out of control. Anything that matters is 10 to 20%. So if you ain't making 10 to 20%, you ain't breaking even on anything that matters. What are we talking about here? And this is the situation for me when I look at opportunity cost on where I could park my dollars. Now, if I was a Warren Buffett with $150 billion worth of assets, well, sure, give me 5% on my 2-year treasury, on my 3-month T-bill, on my 6-month T-bill, because I know at least that I'm going to be breaking even, or maybe I'm losing a little bit to inflation, but at least I get my money back, maybe. Right? That's a different investment strategy when you're sitting on 150 billion cash like Warren Buffett. But I'm little money. I got to build. We got to find the big ones. And we got to grow our businesses right now too. Now, Let's take a look at this thing right now with oil. Back up as we see that oil got cleaned out. Oil got cleaned out this week, down all the way to $73 per barrel. It got down to 76 here on the UK Brent crude oil worldwide benchmark. But if you look at the US oil, it got all the way down to 73. But back up to $81 UK Brent crude oil worldwide benchmark. And so we see the oil did recover off of that. And I think that this thing is actually, the interesting thing right now is how bad of a sign that is towards recession. The fact that they are still cutting productions in the OPEC nations and oil still coming down, that's worrisome. What do these oil traders know? Now, silver and gold absolutely ripped last week, and that was based off of the inflation data coming back in at 3.2%. Everyone started to cheerlead. Oh, Jerome Powell and the Fed have won the fight against inflation. Okay, sure. The silver and the gold bulls called BS on this one, and they both rallied tremendously. Up to $23 right now for your silver, and we went all the way back above $24 on Friday. To finish off the week back above $24 per ounce on silver when we traded at below $22 per ounce. Did you buy that dip? Now for gold, same thing. All the way down to $19.28, just getting cleaned out. Absolutely cleaned out. But back all the way up to nearly 2000, 1993. We're chilling at 1982 right now at the time of this recording. It's 9 o'clock on the West Coast. It's past midnight on the East Coast. Late night session. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And like I said, all the stocks pumped. This is your, finishing off on Friday. The stock market opens back up here shortly. And what you're seeing right now is that both of, all of these stocks, the Magnificent Seven and the S&P 500, Nvidia, all back up. Dow Jones, all back up. And like I said, I think these guys are really exposing themselves to some downside risk for limited upside potential, and to each their own. I'm not here to give anybody financial advice, but for me, the opportunities definitely don't get me excited. And I think that actually when you look at your real rate of return, you're looking at a loss at best case scenario on some of these opportunities. Now, right into the update. I appreciate everyone for stopping by. Let's roll. Israel, U.S. I want to start with this good note, and I pray that this is the case. I pray that this can be achieved. Israel, U.S., and Hamas are close to an agreement that would free dozens of women and children. Amen. God bless. Please, I pray, held hostage in Gaza in exchange for a 5-day pause in fighting. Now, the problem with this is that I don't think that this situation is cooling off. I don't think that this situation is cooling off. Oh, do we got the trolls in the chat? I'm looking at the chat. I see some silliness. As always, let's continue rolling. The people have spoken, and this is a shift that you're seeing that's being confirmed. This is the country, Argentina. Electing Javier Milei is the new president. Sergio Massa has recognized his defeat and conceded. This thing is over. It is over and done. And Milei is already shooting out the tweets. You bet. God bless him. Javier Milei already took it 2023 to finish off the year. We find ourselves in another U.S. election cycle, and you are seeing the people have spoken in Argentina. Are we about to see the people speak in the United States? Will the people be able to speak in the United States? That's a question that we must ask. Whoa, did we already see things still getting unraveled on a daily basis? Many things that I can't talk about here on the public platform still to this day, even though we've confirmed it time after time. We're not crazy lunatic whack jobs. Okay, we actually found some significant evidence that should be investigated. We actually are trying to just save our country. And it's not left, right, up, down. It's not Milei. It's not Trump. Or, as he put out in this tweet, Bolsonaro in Brazil in 2026. The point is that the people have had enough. Argentina is experiencing over 100% inflation. Now, is that going to happen here in the United States? Probably not. But can we rule it out? No, we can't. And are they lying about inflation? Well, absolutely. Absolutely. And so this is the people standing up and saying enough is enough. And I'll show you what this gentleman here, Javier Milei, is all about. Look at this post right here. Here is the man who was just elected president of Argentina detailing his plans for the government. And this looks like a little TikTok right here. I'm going to play this. I'm going to play this. He's speaking in, I guess this is his language. I don't know if this is a version of Spanish, I'm assuming. But I am not going to transcribe this for you guys. But he's talking about stripping out all of these departments. Take a listen in on this. Or watch what he stands for right here. Ministry of Sports and Tourism, out. Ministry of Culture, out. Ministry of Environment and Sustainable Development, out. I can't even say some of these. I might get in trouble. Out. He's sending all of them. Public Works, out. Get it out. Even if you resist, still out. And you know what? I'm just going to say this. Here's the bottom line. Is that all of these governments have gotten too fat. That's the bottom line. And here in the United States, I'll just speak as an American because, okay, I'm an American. I don't understand what's happening in Argentina. I'll tell you what data point has been confirmed. That's the consensus is that Argentina is experiencing over 100% inflation. I don't really need to know much more than that. That already lets me know how bad the situation is there on the ground for the average person. As I've been saying back home here in the West, everybody wants to be happy slappy like everything's okay. And we're really getting squeezed out by inflation that's much worse than the 3.2% that they just reported to us last week. Now, we have three-letter agency bureaucracy beast machine that has been created here in the DC creature, right? Call it whatever you want. The DC dance. It needs to be thinned out. And we need to get back to just creating a level playing field, setting the rules of the road, and then getting out of the way. We don't need all this fluff. We don't need all this fat. And oh, by the way, okay, even if you want to support a program, even if you want to support this cause or that cause or send billions to this country or billions to this country, or it's okay that we wasted trillions of dollars in the Middle East. That's why we're broke now. And no matter what program you want to support now, we are broke. So we have to thin. We have to cut. And if we want to be respected on the world stage, we have to rein this thing back in. Now, Argentina, the people have spoken. I hope that the people of the United States can speak, no matter who that means gets elected. I'm not here to pick a side. I want the people to be able to elect who the people are here to elect. That's it. That's it. And as I've always said, I'm not waiting for Trump to save me. I'm not waiting for Biden to save me. When I started my business, I wasn't expecting Obama to save me because I started my business back in 2015 with Obama. See, everybody, wants to complain about who's president, what's happening here or there. That will not stop you from taking action with your business, with your investments, and getting control of your finances right now. This opportunity that we're looking at could be the sale of a lifetime. The unfortunate part about this situation here for the United States right now and for many of these other countries is that because the inflation is going to get so bad, asset prices can still go up and we can experience stagflation, as I talked about with Andy Schectman. By the way, if you guys didn't catch the interview with Andy Schectman, it's a must listen. We just had Andy Schectman back for the third time, must listen. And we were talking about stagflation being the worst case scenario because what stagflation is, you have inflation where prices are going up because mostly demand's going up. You have deflation, prices going down because demand's falling off. And then you have stagflation, which is the worst case scenario where prices go up while demand's falling off because the inflation's so bad. So what does that mean? It costs too much to buy a house. It costs too much to start a business, to buy a business, to invest in the stocks, to invest in crypto. You don't have any money left for investments because you're getting squeezed out by the day-to-day cost of inflation that you don't have the leftover to pad a retirement account, to buy some stocks, to buy some crypto, to buy a piece of real estate, to buy a business, to grow your business. And what the common denominator is here is that countries around the world are having to reset their currency. the United States, and we are so lucky that we still have this role. The president of Argentina is actually talking of going back to the US dollar. And the reason why that is because it's still the cleanest shirt in the closet. You know, it's still the cleanest shirt in the closet. And the president of Argentina, right, is doing something I think that's smart. And at the end of the day, what he's going to have to look at, like so many other countries, is going to a commodity-backed monetary system, finding the commodities and resources that they can produce within their country, and then you tokenize that on DLT, and then you open up your country to the world. You get into this new global economy. See, this is the beautiful thing about leveling the playing field is folks like this that are willing to cut, that are willing to bring it back in and then start to build, produce real commodities and resources. And then if you lean into DLT, if you look and you say, wow, DLT can actually enable us being able to tokenize the commodities that our country produces that the world actually needs, then that's how you save your country. And that's why what I expect out of this gentleman right here. That's what I hope for the United States. That's what I hope for any other country that you guys are tuning in from here today. I want a level playing field. We produce what you can. You bring it on to the level playing field through DLT, and may the best country win. May the best businesses win. May the best entrepreneurs win. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for the entire world. And get the government the hell out of our way. Now, next tweet. Eric Young shares, I just had dinner with a mainland China economist who is in the know with the higher powers in China. This is what he told me. Since the Fed started aggressively hiking rates, China has commenced a program where it lends US dollars to global South countries who lack US dollars, but demanding yuan renminbi as payment for those loans. The collateral are mining, coastal ports, and energy rights in those global South countries. This information has not yet been made public. I will report more once I found out more from this guy. It absolutely has been made public if you have eyes to see. For those with ears to hear and eyes to see who want to tune into the real news, we've absolutely been covering this. And the last live that I just did, we talked about the BRICS Belt and Road Initiative with China. 155 countries just signed it. So the deal is much bigger than BRICS. The deal is much bigger than the 5 countries within BRICS, the 6 countries that are now going to join BRICS. And I believe Argentina is actually one of them now. It's much bigger than that. You have 155 countries across the world that are getting away from the US dollar. And if you've been paying attention, then as we've been covering too, China's going around the world to Africa, to South America, and they're getting deals done. They're issuing debt denominated in their currency. They want to get paid back in their currency. And the collateral is ports and, as he says right here, mining and coastal ports and energy rights and water rights and farms and, farmland. They're going across the world and they're buying real assets. This is what I'm talking about. Folks think there's literally folks that are just still cheerleading. The Bears have been so wrong. No, we haven't. No, we haven't. Everything's still taking place and the standard of living is still dropping. What are you talking about? The S&P 500 went up. Nvidia went up. Go fill up your car at the gas station. Go renew your lease at your rental. Go try to buy a house right now. Go run a business on Main Street. Who cares that the Magnificent Seven pumped? That has no reality with what's happening on Main Street. Oh, the Bears have been wrong. People are dying out here. What are you talking about? Your little stock portfolio pumped a little bit. You didn't even make gains with a real rate of return because inflation's much more than 3%. And these guys are, I made my 7% on my S&P 500 and I'm going to get my 5% on my bonds and I'm a genius. You're getting wrecked. Your real rate of return is wrecked. It's a loss. And like we've been saying, you don't need some guy in the know from higher powers from that country. No, We're seeing everyone around the world saying we're done with the US dollar. Well, who else is showing up to bail out your country, to develop your country? China, Russia, and the BRICS, along with a broader alliance. But who actually has money to invest? Mostly the original BRICS nations, and it's mostly Russia and China. China really leading the way. China's showing up, and they're saying, okay, we'll help you out. You sign on the dotted line right here. But the collateral is that port. The collateral is those mining rights. The collateral is your energy, your water, your forest. And the Netflix documentaries are already coming out on how some of those deals have gone down. To call it extortion is to put it lightly. That's how that deal works out. They don't care, though, because they got the real collateral signed on the dotted line. And now, is the U.S. any better? No. We've abused our reserve currency status as well, right? So what I want, what I've been a proponent of, is enabling these countries to not have to rely on the U.S. or China to be able to be self-sufficient by bringing their commodities, resources, and general gross domestic product to the world through DLT technology on a level playing field. That's how you do it. But let's bring this thing back home. And let me take a sip of my adult beverage and let's keep it rocking and rolling. Are you guys appreciating this live here tonight? It's a Sunday late night session, and we're going to have a little bit of fun. I do want to take some Q&A at the end of this session, so make sure you guys are getting your questions ready to roll, because I do want to give back to the community at the end of this episode. We're going to be covering a little bit of Q&A, so please get your questions ready to go. And if you haven't already, please tap it, smack it, hit that thumbs up for me. Cheers, everyone. This is my good friend, Rob Cunningham. When three-letter U.S. intel agencies are weaponized by a foreign-owned Federal Reserve with an infinite ability to finance lies, media propaganda, vulnerable politicians, and compromised business leaders, the voices and votes of American citizens will always come last. If at this point in time, people don't clearly understand America was hijacked in 2020 by domestic and foreign actors. Whoa, I got to be careful what I say here. They stole our nation and continue to destroy we the people to amass greater global control and wealth. They aren't relevant to this discussion. It's a time for choosing. Keep sleeping with the enemy or identify and eliminate the thieves. Our entire world needs us to choose wisely, freedom or slavery. I know it's going to be painful. That's why I'm an advocate of ripping the Band-Aid off. Let's not play around. We don't have time for feelings. Oh, this might hurt my feelings. Rip the Band-Aid off, suck it up, and we need to reset this system, and it is going to hurt for the United States and the West. But that's okay. We still have plenty to build on. We still have plenty to produce. We still, generally speaking, have a great standard of living over here. And as someone who wants to see us stop policing the world, that's something that I think that everyone should be getting behind, is that the United States, whether you want to or not, we are broke. And it's the same thing when you come back to the domestic programs back home. We're broke. And then when we take a look, hold up. Let me move my phones out of my way. When we take a look at what's happening in this country, you bet the damages are massive, done by, as Rob says, three-letter U.S. agencies. I call it the bureaucracy beast, and it's absolutely criminal and corrupt. And we're trying to save our country, we're trying to save our capital markets, and we want an opportunity to use crypto DLT technology within the United States of America as well. Now, this is what's hitting at home for the American people right now, and why we are confirming a real estate reset. So I'm going to cover residential real estate first. Some markets are still going up, but I'm going to show you why residential real estate is getting squeezed out. And then we're going to show you guys commercial real estate as well. 2 data points, or just a few. I think I have three data points on real estate. Let's go through it. This is your mortgage. In January of 2021, when rates were at what? 2.5%, 3%, 2.65%. Your mortgage payment was $2,400 a month. Okay. These rates started to climb up to 3%, then up to 7%. This was in the peak of 2022. So you went in just 1 year from $2,400 a month up to $4,100 a month. Okay. Then they started to cool off at the beginning of this year, back down to 5.99%. So your average, your average on a $600,000 mortgage at the beginning of this year in February would have been $3,500. So it cooled back off. But then towards the end of this year, here in October, we climbed all the way back up to $4,400 per month at an 8% mortgage rate. We have since cooled off here now on Friday. We are back down to 7.3%, and you're at $4,100. The point that I want to make is that affordability is still so far away for most Americans. From $2,400 a month for a $600,000 house. Now, actually, a $600,000 house where I'm from, you start to get something. Okay, up here in the Pacific Northwest, it's still jacked up. And a $600,000, you can get something new, cookie cutter in the new housing development, 1,500 to 1,900 square feet. You can, shake your neighbor's hand through your window, and you can live in the suburbs and have a decent living for $600,000 in my area. And that would have been $2,400 per month back in January of 2021 at a 2.65% interest rate. But now, even though rates have cooled off from 8% here in October of 2023 back down to 7.3%, you're still not affordable. You're still at $4,100 compared to $2,400 just 2 years ago. And that's the problem with the residential real estate market. And while some markets are still going up because they are basically they're feeder markets from big metros that have been high flying and people are trying to get out of, i.e. suburbs of Boston, Massachusetts, suburbs of DC. You've seen Texas. Some of those, actually, Austin, Texas has had the biggest drop since the peak of 2022, down 18% in Austin, Texas. So that's one of the residential real estate markets that is down to nearly crash levels. So there are some residential real estate markets that are very, very close to crash and definitely have corrected. Definitely. San Francisco, Seattle, many of the high-flying, speculative, cyclical markets in the cities. But the suburbs around these cities, there's actually price wars still going on. Bidding wars still taking place, actually. But relatively speaking, the affordability there is not there on the residential side. And so this is why the gap between the monthly cost to buy a house and monthly apartment rent is on the highest on record. So when you look at this chart, rent an apartment versus buy a house, that is the largest discrepancy that we've ever seen since this data point has been tracked. You look at back in the late 70s into the 80s, right? At the peak, right? At 18% mortgages, you were still at an $800 payment, $877. So at 18% mortgage rates, you were still paying less than $900 per month for your mortgage. But where was the rentals? Well, the rentals were half that, better than half, $400 per month, right? Now, you saw this during the 2006 housing bubble, up to $1,500 for your mortgage and at $1,000 for your rent. So very clear, right? But now look at how far this has gone, right? And I live in one of those markets for sure in my area. I'm definitely in one of these markets where it is cheaper to rent than it is to buy in most cases, at most price points. When you're talking about a house that's 1,500 square, basically a 3-bedroom house and up, it's basically cheaper to rent than it is to buy in most regards. Now, in commercial real estate, we're seeing the same thing taking place right now. And sorry. I was looking at my phone real quick. It's much worse. let's be very clear. I've been trying to break this down for folks. Residential real estate is, you have to dissect it market by market. Some markets still going up, some going down. In commercial real estate across the board, it's a huge contraction. And in the inner cities of America, it's an absolute sacrifice of commercial real estate, and in particular, office space. So to reiterate that point, further data, the New York commercial real estate nightmare is gaining serious momentum. It's just been reported that Deutsche Bank will take a $350 million loss on a New York City office building. The reason that I wanted to bring this up is because we are hearing reports of Bank of America has $131 billion unrealized losses on their bonds. And we've been talking about how that's just their bonds. That's not including their real estate, the real estate that they've given loans on. Or in this case, how about a Deutsche Bank where this is one of their buildings that they own, right? And they're going to take a $350 million loss on it. So these banks have huge, huge losses on their balance sheet. If they had to mark to market today, they'd be closing their doors, essentially. But this one right here, Deutsche Bank will take a $350 million loss on a New York City office building. In 2014, Deutsche Bank bought the 780,000 square foot building for $500 million and is reportedly ready to sell it for $150 to $200 million per the Real Deal. I mean, are you kidding me? This is set to be a massive loss. Now, it's one thing to be ready to sell at $150 to $200 million, and it's another thing to close a deal. You guys all know that. Anyone who's done a real estate deal knows that very well, right? Or any business deal in general. It's one thing to think you're going to sell your house at, said price versus actually closing the deal. And this isn't really bidding wars like we're seeing in residential suburbs surrounding these cities. This is, we can't find anybody to buy these properties. And we can't find anybody to lease them either. See, this is the big problem. The office portion is just 31% occupied after, go figure, Bank of America. I wonder why they're leaving. The office portion is just 31% occupied after Bank of America, the anchor tenant, vacated. Oh, is that the same Bank of America that I just mentioned has $130 billion of unrealized losses on their bonds? WeWork. Oh, you don't say. The company that we've been talking about, their stock going down 99.7% since their IPO at $47 billion. Now their stock's trading at less than $1. How's that program worked out? Happy slappy collaboration workspace. Gotta love it. WeWork also leased a significant amount of space, but this location is affected by their bankruptcy. There you go. Despite many buildings being under serious distress in New York City, a wave of buildings in Manhattan have yet to hit the market, but it's likely that owners and lenders are holding out for now, hoping for a quick miracle turnaround. Well, keep hoping, keep praying. For the latest updates, coverage on the meltdown in the U.S. commercial real estate just like this, make sure to follow Triple Net Investor. Now, this guy, like I said, he's mostly focused on the commercial real estate market. And you have to segment this out. You have to be very clear. If we're talking real estate, are we talking residential? Are we talking commercial? If we're talking commercial, there's dozens of different segments. You got office, you got short-term rentals, you got, multifamily apartments. There's a few, office storage buildings. There's many ways to do the commercial deal, right? So we have to be very clear when we're talking about real estate. And so in all of my real estate updates, I'm really trying to be very clear what segment of commercial real estate we're talking about and what side of the real estate market we're talking about, residential, commercial. Now, let's get into crypto. How's everyone doing tonight? We still have 400 in the chat. We're still live for the night. Appreciate everyone for stopping by. I see you guys in the chat. Okay, I'm just checking the chat real quick, making sure you guys are still there with me. Get your questions ready because I only have a few points to go over with crypto. I'll try to keep my rant as tight as possible, and then I'll get you to some Q&A. Appreciate everyone for stopping by. I shouldn't say that, but I did want to say this though. Side point, I tried some, I forget what the wine was called. It was some warmed up wine that has a little bit of spice added to it. I don't know if it's a Canadian thing. I don't know where it comes from. They were serving it up there in Canada today. And so I said, okay, what the heck? I'll try it. I'm at the Christmas market with the fam. Let's try some of their warmed up hot spice rum. I wasn't a fan. I liked the idea, but I wasn't. It was like it was like hot cider mixed with red wine. It wasn't it. It wasn't it. But anyways, I digress. Let's get to crypto. Appreciate everyone for stopping by. And, you know, I want to have some fun with you guys here on a Sunday night live at midnight on the East Coast, 9 p.m. Pacific. We're already approaching 10 o'clock. That means I've already been ranting for an hour. Let's get to our crypto. Thank you for stopping by. As I titled this session, Crypto 2.0, the XRP wealth transfer, I wanted to highlight this tweet here from our good friend Steven Narioff. Crypto 2.0, the reboot. Crypto promise. This is what we were told, right? A massive wealth creation for the masses where the establishment cannot control the masses. In reality, though, the crypto reality has been massive wealth transfer from the masses where the establishment uses it to control the masses. And this is what I work. This is why I post, content on a daily basis, because I'm trying to stop this. I know that the wealth transfer is taking place, and I want to get you on the right side of this wealth transfer, not just for crypto, but for all of the financial markets and asset classes. The crypto solution, it's corroded at its core, trillions siphoned off in fraud. Crypto must be cleansed of this darkness and rebooted to fulfill its original promise. This will be Crypto 2.0. And it's funny because I hear so many folks, they don't want to cover this story because it fundamentally breaks down everything they know. It's like, someone who's got a certain set of belief systems, right? Say religious, okay, or say political, right? When you can poke a hole in an argument and you start to break that down and dissolve that base case for why they believe what they believe, it's something that they want to run away from it as far as possible. They want to act like it doesn't exist. And what am I specifically talking about? I'm talking about the Ethereum free pass that we've been talking about for what? Ever since the SEC decided to come after us and we had to go on the defense, we had to get our red folder because we had to defend ourselves against our own government, right? What we uncovered was the Ethereum free pass. We had to go on the defensive. And so we started to say, okay, we got a case here with XRP and Ripple that's very clear. We've already won on the facts and the circumstances as that's been shown in court, as Judge Torres has ruled. We were right. XRP in and of itself is not a security. We were vindicated 100%. But in starting to uncover this thing, we started to realize, wait, they've hijacked the SEC's bought and paid for. All the three-letter agencies don't serve the people. And just to summarize, and generally speaking, our government's been hijacked. Now, this is much bigger than crypto. And so in America, we're putting up our fight. And outside the United States, I see people in our comment section, in our community, who respect what we are trying to do here in America. And I respect what you are trying to do in your country. Just like Argentina elected someone who's definitely going to shake it up. I respect it. I don't even know the guy's principles that in depth, but I respect the people standing up and saying, we have to try something different because what we've got with the status quo is 100% plus inflation and a government that's been bought and paid for and does no longer serve the American people. Now, Steven Narioff, nobody wants to cover it because you guys know the deal with the shills. That's their whole business model. They've never had a business in their life, but they started on the crypto deal. And what's their whole business model? Shill. Teach their own, I got no problem with somebody having a sponsor, that's fine. Having a sponsor is fine. Everybody does it if you're in media. But to shill projects that have no utility and are downright fraud and are leading to this bigger Ponzi scheme, that has led to a wealth transfer from the masses, from the new people trying to get into crypto and trying to figure out an alternative, right? These are folks that are getting squeezed on a daily basis, and they're just trying to figure out, how do I save my money from being destroyed? How do I send cross-border payments without getting absolutely bent over by the cross-border payment system as we know it today? These are people that are just trying to send money back home. And you got Wells Fargo, you got Citibank, just absolutely squeezing the heck out of them. And in crypto, nobody wants to cover this. And then I confronted some people in the XRP community this weekend. I was listening to Twitter and I shouldn't have been. Well, I'm busy doing other things and I want something to listen to. And so I got a Twitter space playing in the background. And I had to call out one of these guys. I said, why haven't you shared anything on the Ethereum free pass? You haven't shared anything on ETHgate. But yet you're posting all this other crap. Where do you stand? Are you here for the community or what? You're scared to talk about this? You got a sponsor? You can't talk about this because you're worried about... I mean, what's your soul worth? It's a serious question. What is your soul worth? A little shill check? That's absolutely pathetic. Golly, I would never sell out for your measly little checks that you guys get for shilling. It's a damn joke. And that's why they don't want to talk about it. All the way up to Mario Nafal in his crypto town hall. Steven Narioff comes up. He's starting to break his story. What did I do when Steven Narioff popped into my Twitter space and was starting to break his story? I about lost it because I couldn't believe it, but I quickly gathered myself and I took advantage of the opportunity to dive in to get as much as I could possible. And when Stevens came out here and he started to drop, he dropped the recording and he's already dropped his lawsuit, by the way. I got another half dozen Steven Narioff tweets bookmarked. I don't have them in for you guys in tonight's show. He's not BSing. He's not playing around. There's been other shills. I forget, Crypto King, some crazy crypto guy who launched some project. And Steven is just going for straight, just going for these guys. He's not taking it. These guys are trying to still come out here and essentially, make up lies. Continue the same lies that were made up about Steven that he proved in the court of law. He got the charges dismissed with prejudice. It was all fake. It was all, manipulation. And these guys are still trying to come at Steven. And he's not playing around. He's not playing nice. And that's what I'm here for, is guys that don't care what it costs to save this country. That's what I'm here for. Now, everybody knows I don't have a sponsor, so I don't have to worry about, my sponsor is going to cancel me. I don't have a sponsor. I would never accept these little show checks that these other guys accept. It's an absolute joke. But, you heard on Crypto Town Hall. Oh, thanks, Steven. Thanks for coming by. But now we got to give some time to today's sponsor, who's a meme coin exchange. My head exploded when I was listening to that. Are you kidding me? This is one of the biggest stories to ever hit the crypto space, ever. And we got to stop so that we can shill a meme coin exchange? And we wonder why our space is not taken serious? Now, the beautiful thing is that the XRP Ripple case, we've won that. Okay, the XRP story, we've won that. So we've positioned ourselves and we've always been the adults in the room. And we've simply just said, hey, we have a set of facts, we have a timeline that we've put together, and it hasn't been in dispute. Nobody's in dispute either with Steven. Interesting how that works. Where's Vitalik? Where's Joseph Lubin? You would think that they would respond maybe. No, they're gone. They're gone. And it's because Steven's directly over the target and he has nothing to lose. He has nothing to lose. But he has an entire country to save. And that's what standing up for something is about. And I'm sorry if I'm ranting too long on this, but as someone who lays it down every single day for you guys, and then to see some other guys say that essentially you're too damn soft to call out what needs to be called out, and you're too worried about your little sponsor, I can't respect it. Just very simple. I can't respect it. Can't respect it. Now, and this is what's so frustrating, is that I have folks that are still losing faith right now. They're losing faith right now when we're starting to prove our case, we're winning in the legal battlefield, and we're getting an incredible amount of utility coming to the XRPL. But what do folks focus on? Price. Price is only at 60 cents. We should be at, we need to be at a higher price. I need to get what I need to get out of XRP. You're going to get something out of XRP. Absolutely. Because we're about to be in the spotlight. While the rest of the space is still under uncertainty, we're about to shine with utility that actually works, with DeFi that actually works, with an AMM that's built into our layer 1. No, the space doesn't have that. We have to understand this. If you missed the DeFi space that I just did with Lachlan Todd, the reason why I had Lachlan Todd on is because Ripple has hired him, Ripple X has, for him to write blog posts about the XRPL and the amendments and everything that's happening to the XRPL. That's why I had him on. He had an interview with David Schwartz not too long ago, about a week ago, and it went really under the radar. And I know why this is going under the radar. I know why that interview went under the radar. I know the interview that I had him on, I didn't even get that many views on it. And it's because folks are wore out. Folks are wore thin. And I'm trying to do everything I can to remind folks what's happening here. This is the perfect setup for XRP to steal the show. XRP already surpassed Ethereum once. XRP has done tens of thousands % in the past, and it can do something close to that in the future here, as we saw that we completely missed the last bull run. The next bull run is set to begin within the next year. Are we already in it? Sure. That's fine. If we're already in the next bull run, that's fine. That's fantastic. I tend to believe that we're set for another major pullback. I tend to believe that we're set for another major correction. And so that's why I'm just remaining patient. But like I said, we know what we hold. We hold utility without counterparty risk. And it's not just XRP. It's silver. It's businesses that we control. It's real estate investments that we control. It's precious metals in our vault. Utility with no counterparty risk. So what I'm trying to do is get folks on the right side of this crypto transfer of wealth that is for sure happening. But if we don't call out what we've built so far, it isn't an inconvenient truth. Just like when Al Gore put out the inconvenient truth, right? This is an inconvenient truth for the crypto space, but it's real. Whether what he was talking about is real or not, I'll let you guys let me know in the comments whether that was real or not. This is real. This is absolutely real. This is an inconvenient truth that Ethereum still sucks. And that from the very beginning, it's been about fraud and manipulation, and they didn't care that it didn't scale because they got a token factory for the early insiders to get rich off of. And that's why Joseph Lubin didn't care. And that's why Vitalik Buterin mocked the United States of America. These guys thought they were untouchable. And that's why Vitalik Buterin called XRP a shitcoin. Excuse my language. And that's why the Bitcoin and Ethereum and the mainstream crypto Ponzi scheme is what I call it. It's the mainstream crypto Ponzi scheme. That's why they are running to the hills. They don't want to talk about this. It's an inconvenient truth. And they know the truth about XRP. And that's why they've said all this crap, all these lies, all this defamation. It's straight up defamation. It's libel and defamation against Steven Narioff. It's libel and defamation against Ripple, and it's misinformation and disinformation on the XRP ledger. All these guys, they've been saying stuff that's just not true. It's why I got started making my content 2.5 years ago. I'm approaching 3 years now that we've been making content. The reason why I got started in the very beginning was because I was watching TikTok. Nobody was talking about XRP, and the people that were sharing misinformation, disinformation. And I've always said this. The reason why that is, in the most part, is because Ripple wouldn't cut them a check. Ripple doesn't cut me a check. Ripple doesn't cut any of us little YouTubers a check. They're not interested in that. They hire guys like Lachlan Todd, who's unbiased, to go write blog posts, DeFi researchers. That's who they go hire. That's why I had him on the show. But these influencers, these shills, these YouTubers in the mainstream crypto Ponzi scheme, they were the ones that were getting paid from all these ERC20 projects. That's their whole business model. That's why they couldn't give it up. That's why they won't call it out. That's why, if it wasn't for us, our country would be gone forever. It wouldn't be saved like we're in the middle of fighting for right now. Now, let's get into this post here. I want to share this video. This is from David Schwartz talking about how Ripple got its start and what Ripple's been trying to do with the XRP ledger. Let's listen in here on David Schwartz.
Ripple is a company that evolved out of the original development of the XRP ledger. It was created by the same people who had originally created the XRP ledger, and the original task was to do something with all the XRP, essentially, to come up with some way to turn that into something useful and valuable. Today, Ripple is focused on essentially primarily, I think we're a payments company. We really want to make payments work better. We look at things like remittances and enterprise payments, and they don't work for a lot of people. So the analogy that I use is like if you've ever sent an email and made an international payment, the two experiences could not be more different. But there's no technical reason why international payments can't be as simple as email. There's just a lot of stuff that needs to be built and developed and gotten out there. And so that's like sort of the core problem that Ripple has been working on.
Now, what David's not saying there, what he's saying, if you read between the lines, there's a lot to be done, but there's no technical reason why we can't be sending payments like we do emails. There's no technical reason stopping that, right? Technology is not the problem. We have the technological solutions available, but the problem is that it cuts into the profits of the incumbents. Exactly like I'm calling out the little YouTube shills, the little ERC20 token pump and dump shills. We're calling out the Charlie Gasparinos. We're calling out the JP Morgans. We're calling out the Citibanks. We're calling out the incumbent cross-border payment infrastructure that is going to charge you ridiculous fees to send a payment. Technology isn't what's holding us back. It's the incumbents not wanting to cut into their profit. Now, David Schwartz, he says they were just trying to create something useful and valuable. Now, that's a very humble way of saying that they've really changed the world with what they've created, right? It absolutely is something that is useful and valuable. And that has been confirmed here. I wanted to highlight this partnership that is so critical because folks say, oh, Ripple's not concerned about retail. Ripple doesn't care about the little guy. No. What they're doing is they're enabling these banks, these payment providers and institutions to service the retail in a better way. And this has been confirmed with partnerships like this one with On Africa here in Africa. The entire continent now that Ripple's been able to give on-demand liquidity and XRP settlements to. This is shared here by Yoshitaka Kitao, who is CEO of SBI Holdings. But he shares this one. Ripple partners with On Africa to power digital asset-enabled cross-border payments between Africa and the rest of the world. Now, I've actually already read this article for you guys. I did this in another segment, I think a couple weeks ago when it came out. Yeah, November 8th. So I've already covered this one. But the reason why I'm bringing it up once again is just to confirm that Ripple has put these strategic partnerships in place that open up dozens of corridors at a time. See, On Africa already services 40 countries within the continent. And as it says right here, it'll be able to make speedy and cost-effective remittance and business payments to recipients in 27 countries across On Africa's Pan-African network. Now, it has the asterisk there. When you scroll on down to the bottom, you can see right here, it lists off all these countries: Zimbabwe, Zambia, Uganda, Togo, Tanzania, South Africa, Senegal, Nigeria. You see all these, right? And this is real solutions actually changing the world versus the rest of the space is too interested in doing pump and dumps. It's what's so frustrating in the XRP community. But the good news is, folks, for those of you that have tuned in here tonight, if you haven't already, please tap it, please smack it, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because as I've been showing you guys, although it's frustrating, although this bear market recession is very real, although inflation is much worse than they're telling us, it is very, very tough situation out there. An opportunity has presented itself for us to buy these assets before they relinquish control of the old system, and they actually allow that new system to run the payments that we know of today that are valued in the hundreds of trillions and the quadrillions of dollars. When I was in Canada today, I almost made a video in front of the HSBC because I was driving by, and Ripple has all these partnerships with these Canadian banks. And I drove by an HSBC and I was just thinking, darn it. I was telling wifey that I need to pull over and I need to record a video in front of the HSBC, which I think I'm going to do next time I'm in Canada, because I know that would hit, but I know that would do well. But folks, this is real time. HSBC offering tokenized gold to their institutional clients. Who's going to be the custodians? Medico. Who is Medico? Ripple, right? Ripple just acquired this company that is the final brick. The final brick to put this piece together is custody. You have to have the custody, and then the final piece that we're waiting for is regulations. But at least we know XRP in and of itself is not a security. So institutions, banks, and partners here can start to acquire the asset with the understanding that it's not a security. That's great, right? And knowing that they can start to use this utility without having to worry is fantastic. Many of them are still going to wait, though, for regulations to be passed here in the United States of America. Outside of this country, you are seeing Ripple announce new partnerships every single week. You are seeing corridors get fired up now, 27 corridors in countries within Africa, right? And this is where Ripple doesn't have to worry about basically having a connection, a direct connection with the retail end user. What you do is you enable a payment provider like On Africa, who's already live in 27 countries across the continent. When you start to bring on another billion people onto the internet, and then you bring another billion people onto digital payments, okay? The existing payments infrastructure, the derivatives, all of the equities and the bonds and all these markets, real estate, everything that we have built out so far is only going to grow exponentially because we're enabling the rest of the world. And what I see here with an opportunity here, it's very clear. I covered XLM. That was in the update that we dropped yesterday. And if you guys haven't checked out, I would encourage you to do so, because XLM and Stellar has been building. They got their AMM. They're going to upgrade to smart contracts. They got some good stuff. That's fantastic. For the XRPL, additional utility on the way. And not only are we exposing the legal battlefield, the fraud, the manipulation, we're trying to save our country too, but the utility is just so much better over here on XRP, on XLM, even on the layer 2s of Ethereum, which could actually do pretty well in this next bull run just because Ethereum still sucks so much. Now, for me, I'm not really that interested in Polygon and some of these other cryptos. I'm fine on that, right? But for me, you have a company in Ripple where you have a serious opportunity right now to invest in the company, right? Buy shares of Ripple, a company that is valued at about, $9 or $10 billion, give or take, depending on who you're asking. But if you ask me, that is at a significant discount when you look at the escrowed XRP that they have that is not being calculated into that valuation. That data point right there tells me that we're getting their company shares at a discount. Great. Now with XRP, here's what we haven't seen. What we haven't seen is all of the deals to acquire XRP we haven't seen from institutions, because all of those deals have been happening over the counter. See, when a bank goes to acquire XRP, an institution, payment provider, they don't go to an exchange. They don't go to Uphold. They don't go to Coinbase. They go to over-the-counter market makers and they pick up XRP on the low, where it is never seen by market participants like us. This is why we don't have a fair market value of XRP today, because we don't know of all of the pre-allocation contracts that Ripple has done, and we don't know where they have distributed the XRP so far, because all of those deals have been done over the counter behind the scenes. That's what an over-the-counter exchange is, an over-the-counter market maker. It's not Uphold, it's not Coinbase, it's not the public DEX. So we can't track, we can't watch, and we don't get to know. Only Ripple knows where the XRP is gone, where the XRP is going through pre-allocation option contracts and the likes. If we knew all that, well, then we would probably be at a fair market value of XRP, and I would bet everything that I have that it would be a higher price than where we're at today. So although we're starting to see some partnerships, although ISO's going live today, that's not what's going to move this thing, right? What's going to move this thing is Ripple, and I'm just going to throw out a silly example. SBI Holdings issues Japanese yen on the XRPL. Ripple issues US dollars on the XRPL, right? And we launch that liquidity pool, and Ripple and SBI Holdings launch a corridor. They start to move liquidity flows, and they really start to ramp up that liquidity, right? And they do that, and that's just one of many liquidity pools that get fired up, utilizing the XRPL DEX that really starts to move the price of XRP. And that's what's about to be happening here on the XRPL. So Ripple just announced through their Uphold partnership that they're going to be utilizing the XRPL DEX as well, right? They're going to be tapping into Uphold's liquidity, and they're also going to be tapping into the XRPL DEX, which they had not been for their on-demand liquidity payments. Their on-demand liquidity flows had been going through centralized exchanges, but now they're going to tap into the DEX, and I believe that that's going to really move the price of XRP, along with us figuring out that there's not as much supply as we think is available, because big institutions, big banks, and big payment providers have already stashed away big amounts of XRP, along with folks like myself and you, and maybe some folks that are, rich, that have a bag that have came up and they've pulled up and they've acquired hundreds of millions of XRP. They've acquired billions of XRP. There are people like that out there. We know that, right? One of the heirs of BNY Mellon, right? He had a bunch of XRP before his passing, right? This is the heir to BNY Mellon. These are just guys that are just stupid rich that buy a bunch of XRP, put it on a bunch of cold storage wallets, and then mysteriously pass away. I don't know what the full story is, although we know that he stashed a large sum of XRP away before he passed away. And that's just one dude. That's just one heir to a fortune of wealth, the BNY Mellon fortune, right? That's just one guy. And so I think that the supply of XRP is way less than we are led to believe by what's shared on CoinMarketCap, by what's, our assumptions that we're making on where the escrow is going to go, on how much XRP is going to be made available for these liquidity pools. And that is going to drive up price of XRP. I think we are going to see XRP go above $1. And like I said, I don't think it comes back below $1 ever again. And I believe that that happens within the next year. So do you have 6 months to acquire XRP under $1? Do you have 3 months to acquire XRP under $1? You know, I think within the next year, without a doubt, we start this next bull run. Probably most likely, already has started, but watch out for the pullbacks, and any more pullbacks that we get, any time that you have XRP under $1, I firmly believe that it could be some of our last moments in time of XRP under $1. So I'm not going to lose sight. I'm not actively picking up more XRP right now because my bags are already packed. I almost bought some more this weekend when XRP dipped below 60 cents again. I was really tempted, but I didn't. Because I know I already got a bag, and I know I have some other things that I need to buy. I need to buy a family. I need to buy a house for the fam. Got some other things. But boy, was that looking good. I wanted some more Stellar too. Every time I do a Stellar update on XLM, I want to buy some more. Now, let's get to the Q&A, guys. Thank you for coming by here tonight. I appreciate everyone for stopping by. Let me take some Q&A. Appreciate everyone. If you haven't already, please hit it. Please hit it. I eat instant noodles for XRP. I try to have some top ramen every once in a while just to remind myself that, we got to make some sacrifices. We got to grind. I bring my top ramen back here, and I get back to work. Yeah, absolutely. Once a month or so. Even though I know it's really bad for you, I still like to remind myself. Feel free to drop those questions down below. Appreciate everyone for stopping by. What do you think of HBAR? I'm not invested and I'm not interested. I haven't found anybody that's actually using the token. Just to keep it real. I haven't found anybody that's actually using it. How tall am I? I'm almost 6'4", about 6'4". Where are the personal custody solutions that will pay yield? I don't think that there are any personal custody solutions that will pay yield. I know there's Nexo. That's not personal custody. I know the AMMs. You won't be you'll be using the ledger, so you won't be relying on kind of a third. Excuse me. You won't be relying on a third party to custody your XRP for the AMM. It's kind of built into the ledger. But yeah, that's going to be the best way to probably get your yield on your XRP is going to be through the AMMs. And then there are platforms that are going to help you do so. Now, Nexo's already jumped the gun. They're already offering it, but it's not available for US users, from my understanding. I got an inch on you. There you go. Yeah. And yeah. That's what most people say when they see me. Oh my gosh, I can't believe how tall you are. Intermittent fasting helps your body, mind, and spirit prepare you for food shortages. Yeah, well, I find that intermittent fasting actually provides clarity too, right? And I believe that it keeps me hungry, right? Literally, but like, I feel like I'm more locked in. At most, I'll maybe make have a couple eggs, little bacon or something. But for the most part, I grind on coffee till midday, and then I have something about 11 or noon, and then I just go right back to it. Fasting also kills cancer cells. There's many benefits to fasting, isn't there? Yeah, I don't get too hardcore on the health. I have a whole health bookmark on Twitter where I've saved all this information. And then in our Discord group, we have a whole health channel. And we've had multiple conversations on the health stuff. I'm not really a health nut. but I try to stay away from most of the crap. We love you, Zach, from Phil's. Keep strong, bro. Is that Phil's? You talking Philadelphia? You talking... Is Phil's short for Philadelphia? East Coast? Are you still here on the East Coast? It's already 1:30 on the East Coast. It's past your bedtime. Yeah, from Hawaii. Yeah, good. Usually we get the Hawaii folks and we get the Australians in the late night chat. I don't know if we have any of our Aussie friends in the chat tonight. I'm sure we do. XRP staking, should I chance it? So this is the problem with many of these staking platforms right now. I don't know where they're generating the yield from. And if you don't know where they're generating the yield from, beware. Beware. Health is wealth, absolutely. 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 I'm not the best. I'm not the best on health, but I don't really do too much crap. Will my XRP transfer to QFS in my Nano? Yeah, Chester, that's a good question. I get a lot of folks that think that you need to be in some QFS wallet. You need to do this or that. No, you don't. No, you don't. There's folks that are trying to like speculate on how the QFS system's going to work. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. What you need to know is that the XRPL, David and some other smart folks have already been working on making the XRPL quantum resistant. That's what's important. So the XRPL is already quantum resistant. The XRPL already has a DEX built into it. I wouldn't worry about, oh, I need to do this or that for the QF. No, you don't. No, you don't. A lot of that's BS. And you got to watch. There's a lot of folks that have tried to scam folks out of, these are folks that are trying to understand the QFS system. And I've done multiple deep dives on how the new system will work tied in to quantum computers. I've done many sessions on that. I'm not afraid to talk about quantum computers. They're very real. They are here. And what we're being told on the surface is just a drop, in the bucket compared to what they actually got on the back end. So understand that. But with that being said, you don't need to do any of that stuff. Anybody who's telling you that is a load of crap. Straight up is a load of crap. And yeah, sure, speculate on the QFS, but no, you don't need to do any of that crap. And in fact, there's been a lot of scammers. Oh, this token represents, this token represents the seized assets of Apple. No, it doesn't. That's a load of crap. So watch out for the scammers. There's so many dang scammers, man. It's so unfortunate. Missy, I see you. I see you. God bless you. Thank you so much for the love, Missy. Hoping to see you at the next Discord meetup. Hopefully you can make it. We already have 3 meetups planned. We already got 3 for next year. Really looking forward to it. Is Lobster okay for XRP? That's what I'm talking about. So the Lobster wallet, I've already done a video on it. I've done multiple deep dives on this. The Lobster wallet in it of itself is not a scam. All of the issued assets on top of the XLM Stellar network, a lot of those are scams. So the Lobster wallet, similar to the Zum wallet, is just a toolkit to use the DEX on the XRPL or the XLM network. So the Lobster wallet, not the problem. If you want to use the Lobster wallet, that's fine. I haven't seen any problems with it. I have the Lobster wallet. I do not have much assets on it. I don't think I have any assets on it. In fact, now that I think about it, I probably have a couple hundred XLM over there. I probably need to go look at that. Okay. But I don't have anything on the Lobster wallet. But what the Lobster wallet is good for is it's an interface. It's a toolkit to the XLM ledger. That's important. A lot of the issued assets on top of XLM, scams, straight up. I've already done a video on it. I forget what it's, I forget what it was called. I don't think it was called XLM Deep Dive. I did an XLM Deep Dive a while ago, and then I also did another one on the lobster. I'll go back and look on that. But it pains me. This really pisses me off because bad actors have taken advantage of really good folks who are trying to understand how all this is going to work, how the new system's going to roll out. And, you know, they know about the executive orders to seize the assets of those who did crimes against humanity. And I know about those executive orders too. I know about all this, right? And that's all very real. It's all very real. And Stellar, similar to the XRPL, you can issue stocks, bonds, real estate, whatever you want on it. So it is very real. Is the whole stock market going to move to XLM? No. No. There are already issued assets on the XLM ledger that represent stocks. Sure. Okay. That's what they're telling you. Okay. Where's the backing? If you can't confirm it with real backing, with real companies, for me, it's not. You can't be going down that road. So stay safe from the Stellar scams. Stay safe from the XRP ledger scams. There's many tokens on the XRPL that are just pieces of crap. Scams. It's so unfortunate. The rug pull on Bitcoin. Yeah, see, the thing about Bitcoin, it can actually still run up pretty well. It's just the upside potential for me, it's not as good as what is going to be for XRP and some of these other cryptos, so I'm good. IBM quantum computers. Yeah, IBM's at the forefront. China's already shown us that they have good quantum computers. It's all very real. There's a lot of folks that try to dismiss and say, oh, the QFS isn't real. No. Let's just make this simple for everyone to understand. We have quantum computers. We have a financial system. Eventually, the financial system will settle on quantum computers. That's all the QFS is. And yes, eventually it will beam off of the satellites. It already does. I mean, in a big part, a lot of these networks are already beaming off the satellites. So that's all it is. It's not this like crazy alien technology. What is my thoughts on Sandbox? You know, I got wrecked shorting Sandbox. I'll tell you that. During the last bull run, I got wrecked shorting Sandbox. I'm not a fan though. Zach, how do you argue debate with people who respond to your facts with their opinions? Well, if they have facts that, you know, disprove what I'm talking about or are something to consider, then that's fine. But, you know, I mean, I have a lot of people that disagree with me. I've been under heavy attack lately because I was covering the Ethereum free pass again, and I was covering Steven's story, and his evidence is damning, and it's not like, oh, I think there was an Ethereum free pass conspiracy. No, this is like, we have it. We have the recording. Vitalik had no idea what he was doing. Vitalik made a huge mess. Vitalik had a disaster on his hands. And that's why he chose Steven Arioff to come consult him. Now, Steven Arioff just dropped a 3-hour recording last week that exposes the whole thing. Vitalik should have never been in charge of that company. He had no idea what he was doing. And Joseph Lubin was treating it as his own hedge fund. And so, yeah, I mean, we're under heavy attack right now, but I'm always open. If you guys have seen on my Twitter spaces, I bring everybody up. As long as you're respectful, I never shy away from anybody that disagrees with me ever. I encourage it, actually. I love it. I'm somebody who likes debating. So I try to stay away from the crap that happens on Twitter because a lot of it's not productive. But I would debate every day if someone, you know, wanted to. I'm happy to. There's nothing like a good, healthy, respectable debate. And it's unfortunate because our society's kind of gotten away from that. Either you're offended, you have to be right. I'm willing to admit when I've been wrong. 100%. 100%. Ooh, Robert. Yeah, we have gotten some good questions tonight, haven't we, Missy? Good ones. Good ones coming in right now. Keep dropping your questions down below, folks. Let's get it. Robert asks, Zach, do you still think that we are in line with the Wells Fargo Treasury Manager, Shannon, shout out to Shannon, who said that we go to $100 to $500 in 4 to 7 months? I think that we're in line to do that eventually. 100%. I think that we are in line to do 100 to 500 eventually. 100%. Now in 4 to 7 months, ooh-wee, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. What I heard is wrapped XRP, and I think Zach is referring to maybe possible scam. Yes, Shell, watch out, watch out. You don't want wrap nothing. You don't want none of that crap. You don't even really want to have XRP on an exchange, right? Because then you open yourself up to counterparty risk. Now, for some folks, they're not ready to self-custody. They're not ready to do the wallets. And so they're just going to leave crypto on an exchange. That's fine. I get it. It's not for everyone. It is, a learning curve. But I don't like keeping my XRP on the exchanges. I only have a little bit, and I play around with a little bit of XRP now. For example, when I bet Daniel on a settlement taking place, that's a little bit of XRP that I'm using, and I'm trying to do stuff like that now, trying to find ways to spend my XRP, whether that's betting Daniel on settlement or not, right? But you don't want any of this wrapped XRP crap on Lobster, wrapped XRP crap anywhere. No, thank you. And I called out those scams on Lobsters from the very beginning. I'm going to look this up. Just because I'm curious. I did a video on this along. I got the number one video right here. I pulled it up. I just put in lobster scams. Number one video. Lobster scams exposed. It only has 10,000 views. But it's from 1 year ago. It's a 3-minute video. It's part of another video that I did. Lobster scams exposed. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. I was one of the first people to call it the lobster scams. That was an easy one. XRP is wrapped to function on the Stellar network. That's fine, I guess, if you want to function on the Stellar network, but you don't need to use wrapped XRP to function on the Stellar network, right? Now, if you want to, that's fine. That's fine. That is an option, sure. It's just for me, for my long-term holdings are not wrapped XRP on anywhere. My long-term holdings are not on an exchange, right? Now, if you want to utilize the DEX for Stellar through wrapped XRP, that's one way to do it. But I would just use XLM over there, right? What should you do with your wrapped XRP? I would exchange it. I would try to get back to real XRP on the XRP ledger. That's the only place that XRP exists, is on the XRP ledger. Wrapped XRP is somebody else's claim. You got counterparty risk. Exactly. Yeah, I would just swap to XRP and get out of any wrapped XRP. Do I know anything about the Bank of Japan going under? That's a good question, Dirk. Yes, absolutely. So the bonds for Japanese central bank there, nobody's buying them. And so, yeah, their bonds are failing. Their bonds are collapsing. And their currency is trading at a level that we haven't seen in 33 years for the Japanese yen. That's where the Japanese yen's trading at right now against the dollar, a level that we haven't seen in 33 years. Let me take some final questions, guys. Final questions, drop them below. What happened to Crypto Adam? That's a good question, Dirk. I don't know. Is he still... I don't think he's really making much content anymore, is he? He had the XRP killer project, right? And then he went missing. I hope Adam's all right. I hope Adam's doing good. What is a price for Ripple? Well, the price for Ripple, the company, you can get on the private market for about $50 per share. And the price for XRP right now is about 62 cents US dollars. Am I into any currency revaluations? Yes. But I'm into believing that currencies are being reset and revalued, but I don't own any foreign currencies. Do I believe in currency revaluations? Yes. That's why I own silver, right? Do I believe in currency revaluations? Yes. That's why I own XRP, right? I don't have Zim. I don't have Dong. I don't have none of it. I don't have any of it. But I know many in my community do. Many people in my community do. And I've been tempted because I know for a couple $100, you can get yourself $1 million Zimbabwe dollars or whatever the deal may be, but I've never done it. What's up with XPR network? Oh boy, Proton. Oh boy. I was told if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. This is why I can't talk about too many other projects, because if I don't have something nice to say, I try to not, hurt anybody's feelings. XPR, they got a little something cooking over there, don't they? They're trying to do something. I haven't invested, haven't had any interest. After looking over what they're doing, it's a cool story, but I'm going to need to see something a little bit bigger confirmed. I'm going to need to see a little bit more respect from, any sort of partnerships that would actually be meaningful would confirm kind of what we're being told as far as the story for Proton. That's what I would say about Proton, right? And that's the story for so many other projects too. That's not just Proton. I'm not here to pick on Proton. Is that we need people that actually matter to use the token. There's our Aussies in the chat. Josh, thank you so much. Love from Australia. Thank you. Appreciate you, Josh. All right, guys. So like I said, I did a session over the weekend, XRP Ledger DeFi. If you want to know more about the DeFi space, that interview was with Lachlan Todd, and he has actually been hired by Ripple X to write blog posts and write information, kind of threads on Twitter about the XRP Ledger. So he's a gentleman who's pretty smart, had a good session with him. And then we had an interview with Andy Sheckman over the weekend as well. And so make sure that you guys check out those. And we have additional content that's going to be dropping tomorrow, Monday. Looking forward to starting a new week. Definitely expecting a lot to take place. And so if you aren't already, make sure that you subscribe, hit that notification bell. Everything else can be found at my website, zachrector.com, including your exchanges, wallets for crypto, including your precious metals, And if you're looking to get tapped in with our private community, that's the Patreon. Get access to Discord. We would love to have you over there. It's been an absolute pleasure tonight, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. More content coming this week. Make sure you stay tuned, and I will see you guys in the next one. God bless you all. Thank you so much.